Before we get into this, we're going to start with a little bit of an introduction. I've made it clear throughout the history of my channel that I do not abide by any one particular religion, right? There's just key tenets, key teachings, key codes, ways that the religion expects you to live and move throughout life that I just simply don't agree with, you know? And when people start picking and choosing what they want to celebrate, what they want to worship from a religion that was given to you that has clear rules, are you still part of that religion? So I just chose to say, hey, I'm not part of any one religion. I just choose to walk the path of truth and righteousness, you know, because I truly do believe that each main religion, each subject of study, each body of works, whether it's like, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, ontology, psychology, sociology, anatomy, astrology, math, science, social studies, whatever. I think all of it has a slice of the pie. And the problem is once people adapt or adopt a certain way of thinking and they accept one thing to be true, everything must now fit into that world where I'm just like, no, instead of being the one slice of the pie that you're trying to fit everything into, I'm the apex of the whole circle. And I'm just looking around and just extracting the truth from that section, from that sector, from that belief system, from that religion, from that study. And I'm applying it and testing it in my world. And I just honestly think that I'm a walking representation of my belief system, But nevertheless, with all that being said, even though I walk around with my crystals, even though I believe in other gods and other sources and this and that, I believe in the Most High. It's like I believe in the Most High, where some people call it Ra, some people call it Allah, some people call it the One Mind, some people call it this, that, and the third. Whatever it is, the benevolent source that I tap into that's been helping me throughout my life, that's protecting me, that's been giving me guidance, that's been doing everything for me in the background, that's what I call God. Well, that's what I call what you guys call God. I call it the whisper. And as I grow, that name is going to change over time too, But nevertheless, it's like I still consider myself Christian/Jewish based. I grew up in the church, the Christian Baptist, I've renounced my faith in God. And I came all the way back through the works of Neville Goddard because he taught the Bible in a way that made sense to me, in a way that I always felt as a child that this book is supposed to be applied. So that's just where I go with things, The Bible's a dope book. Has it been doctored and manipulated by the Eurocentric complex? Yes, but the truth don't change. The best lies contain a little bit of truth. And if you can see through the veil of trickery that's been implanted in the book, give to the world, give to Caesar that's Caesar's. Caesar in the Bible? That just tells you some things. That's why I can't get down with everything. Is that Old Man Joe? That might be him. I don't know. We'll see. But nevertheless, man, it's like one of the things I wanted to talk about, though, was one of the scriptures, the biblical scriptures, where it says, be ye restored by the renewing of your mind. Be ye restored by the renewing of your mind. And what does this mean? All right. Now, everyone can have a little bit of a difference of opinion. I'm just sharing mine. Let's put it to you like this, right? Be ye restored by the renewing of your mind. A lot of people think that there's just one single message with that, where I think that has a universal application. If you do a math problem, let's just say we all been to school at some point, so we should be able to relate, and you did a math problem wrong. Well, if you look at the notes that your teacher gave you, oh, you added this number here when you should have subtracted it. You should have, with PEMDAS, with order of operations, you should have did this first and then did that. Okay, cool. Now you got new information to apply to yourself. Now that you've gotten the wrong way out of doing something, you can now apply the correct method, right? Your mind has been restored with the truth. You see, you got out with the old, in with the new, right? Let's go up a level. How many of you know, or from personal experience, had issues with alcohol or drugs? Okay? For those of you that have healed from that, and you got your blue chips, 5 years sober, or whatever, even a month sober, shit, who cares? If you are operating from a new paradigm now, go look at who you are now. Let's just say an easy year into the future, and go look into who you were. See, a year ago, you was doing something a little strange for a little piece of change so you can get your next bump. You know what I'm saying? But then a year from now, you're a completely different person, and now you're the top salesman at the car dealership. You're now helping at a youth football game. Helping with youth sports and stuff. You've completely changed your mind around. Is your mind the same as it was back then? No. Your mind has been restored. You see what I'm saying? It's like, so when people want to apply one simple message, it's like the one simple message is out with the old, in with the new. You know, what wasn't working for you, get rid of it and replace it with what does. That's what it means to be restored by the renewing of your mind. Renewing of your mind is just a poetic way of saying changing your mind, right? How many of you can, like, if I went and looked at some of my older videos, I could be like, damn, I was talking some crazy shit in that video, and I've changed over time, right? It's like, what happened? Your mind changed, it renewed, it took on a new form when you learned new information, you applied new things to your life. You see what I'm saying? It's like, how many of you, what's a good example? How many of you had an initial idea of somebody? How many of you have chosen to like or dislike somebody simply because what you've heard in the past, or you've heard rumors about them, or you've seen clips of them online, right? Oh, I can't stand that person. Oh my God, I love them. They're so great. And then you learn something new about them. Now that your mind has been enriched by the truth, whatever that truth may have been, you now have a new state of mind. You've thus been renewed again. You see what I'm saying? When you're online and, you know, your internet's acting wonky, a web page isn't loading right, you know, what happens when that's going, what happens when that's messed up? You refresh it, right? You've restored the web page by refreshing it so the code could run right. You're doing the same thing with your mind, all right? So a lot of what's going on these days, and I need to make a whole separate video about it, but what's going on these days is the algorithms are feeding you what you watch. Whether it's good or bad, doesn't matter. Whatever keeps you on the app, these algorithms are feeding your mind one way or another. And a lot of you don't realize how your bias is being developed by your smartphone, by your TV, by your computer, based off of what you see, based off of the algorithms. Shit, not even just YouTube, not even just Instagram, but your Netflix account looks different than mine. I watch action movies. I watch suspense movies. You know, I watch this, but if you watch documentaries, what's going to be on your feed versus mine? So a lot of you are forming opinions about people with pop culture and stuff based off of your algorithm. So if your algorithms would pick up that you like someone, they'll keep showing you that, and they'll never show you the bad side. Why do you think there's so much division when it comes to politics? Because the people on the left look at the people like on the right like they're demons, because and vice versa, because when you're looking at your phone, you only see what you like. So you watch a whole bunch of, let's just say you're left wing, whatever. You're left wing, you watch all these people, left wing, good, yeah, Democrat, woo, 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 woo. And then whenever you see a video of a right wing person, it invokes so much anger out of you because you can't fathom the fact that someone believes something differently than you, simply because you've been watching the same stuff over and over that you think that's the whole truth. Whereas the other side looks at you the exact same way. First of all, y'all both need to drop the act. Both of these sides are screwing you both over. Okay, why do we have the United States, but we are divided on every topic? That division is put in there on purpose. Okay, remember that YouTube is owned by Google. Google is not a search engine; it's an information technology company. Okay. All they want is your information, and their information drives advertisements, and advertisements is what make them money. They make more money when you stay on the apps. So whether they give you exactly what you like or the opposite, whatever keeps you engaged is what the algorithms are going to push you. So you see what I'm saying? You're always being tracked no matter what. You see? But nevertheless, you have to be restored in your mind. A lot of you need to get rid of old ideologies that no longer serve you. A lot of you need to open your mind, like one of my girlfriend's favorite prayers is like, please soften the hearts and soften the minds. You read that? What is that? Not Genesis. Was that Exodus? You know, softening the hearts and the minds of the Pharaoh and stuff like that, right? Okay. So what y'all need to do is like get to wherever you believe, whatever your belief system. I don't care if it's rituals and spells, or if it's praying to your God, or doing your exercise, whatever. You know, get to your higher power and start to soften your mind to the truth, whatever it is. Because a lot of people are scared of the truth. What's that one show? You can't handle the truth. A lot of you are scared of the truth, so you rather live with the lie. Jesus himself said that he'd rather have a harsh awakening than a comfortable sleep. You know? So when the truth is presented to a lot of you, you reject it because it's not what you're used to hearing. You know? Let's get away from religion, politics, and all that type of stuff, and let's just talk about some conspiratorial stuff. You know, a lot of people are labeled, so the common folk automatically discount them. Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. I guess that's political, but still, you're an anti-vaxxer. You're a sovereign citizen. You're a conspiracy theorist. Well, let's focus on that sovereign citizen stuff, because like I said, I'm going to keep sprinkling this throughout my videos. Leave breadcrumbs for people that want to follow along as I'm learning before I become a full-fledged teacher of this stuff, you know? But like right now, you guys have a trust in your name. What's the name of this trust? You get it every day. You got your bills, right? Go look at your bills. Your bills are in all caps. Your name in your mail is usually in all caps. If you gave your social security number to do this business, whether it's your phone, your utilities, what have you, if you gave your social security number in the application, your mortgage, your car loans, you have entered into a trust action. You have entered into a consumer credit transaction. Consumer credit transaction. These are operated and dictated under consumer law. This is why you need to learn the UCC codes, because these are the laws that you utilize to express your sovereignty, to let these companies know that they can no longer use and abuse you. Because acquiescence is the admission of truth with your silence. So when they're doing things and they have you paying bills that are already prepaid, when they use your social security number, what I'm learning is they're using that all caps name as a fictitious entity that they can attach you to make you believe that you have to pay those bills when they're already prepaid by your Cestui trust. Cestui, CESTUI space QUE, Cestui trust. Okay? That's the thing that you were given. That's the thing that the state has been in custodian of when your mother gave you away, well, technically gave you away to the state. And with your footprint on your birth certificate, on your real birth certificate, they assigned you as property of the state, and because you are a minor, they considered themselves custodians of that trust, and they've been using and abusing it without your knowledge, and they can keep on doing it until you claim it. What I'm learning is there's different ways of doing it, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm no expert. This is not financial legal advice, but what I learned is that you need to become a secured party creditor. When you become a secured party creditor, that's what gives you access and gives you authority to utilize this trust. You'll never be able to take all the money out and go cash it out, but you will now be able to utilize it properly. Your credit cards, your banks, these are trustees to your account, and you are the beneficiary. That's why there's a difference between an open, it's like a blank endorsement and a specialized endorsement. There's a difference between a regular old signature and a beneficiary signature. Okay, you need to go learn this stuff. But how much of this stuff is like, man, bro, I ain't doing all that, bro. That's the sovereign citizen talk. You label something so you can easily discount it and stay in your comfortable sleep. But what I'm learning is the more that you get out of this system, the more things start to make sense. The more you realize why cops act the way they do. The more you realize that these judges have literally threatened to put you in contempt for bringing up the Constitution. Why would a judge say that you be in contempt of bringing up your constitutional rights? Because it's out of that jurisdiction. You're mixing two jurisdictions when you do not properly invoke the proper jurisdiction, when you do not challenge jurisdiction the proper way. I know all the terms, but I don't know how to execute it yet. But this is the stuff I'm telling you. It's like you got to get out with the old, in with the new. Oh, you can't fight back against the government. Oh, the IRS is going to get you. Oh, with so-called black people. Oh, it's been 400 years. The white man's always going to keep his foot on our neck. Get out with that victimhood bullshit. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian. I don't give a fuck. Are you going to fight for your freedom? Or are you going to stay a slave? Stay a slave then. Oh, well, I'm never going to be no slave. Well, if you don't know how to discharge debt, you are a financial slave. And that's a tough pill to swallow. That's why people in the Matrix, they said red pill, blue pill. Which one you going to take? And so I took 3 of the red pills, you know what I'm saying? The effects are sitting in, the high is starting to kick in, you feel me? But I'm learning this stuff and I'm being empowered by it. I don't look at the huge mountain that I have to climb. Oh my God, I could never do it. I've scrapped that victimhood mentality a long time ago, and my mind has been renewed with, that's what I gotta do to get to my next level. Let's get started. Till the next one, y'all. Peace.